6:07 p.m. Who would like to volunteer to do the invocation? We'd like to volunteer, sir? We do like to make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to do that. So, but since he's here and you haven't come up.
Okay, bow your heads. Father God, I want to say thank you for this day. Thank you for all the blessings that we have in our lives, in the city, in the people that are here. And thanks, God, just for everything. Thank you for our families, our friends. Thank you for the peace we have in the city. It all comes from you. And I want to take a minute, Father, and pray for the city council and the city workers here and all the staff, because you've asked us to do that in the Bible. And I think you did that because it's a rough gig. Not only, Lord, do they have their own lives that are sometimes difficult to manage like all of ours, but they also have to run the city. So I pray that you give them wisdom. May Hawthorne become the kind of city where other cities look at us and say, yeah, that's the way to do things. So I ask these things because you're a good Father. In Jesus' name. I ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Okay, we'll ask Councilwoman Faye Johnson, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance today? Then we'll to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So, we'd just like to recognize our veterans. Councilwoman Johnson, can you lead us in honoring our veterans, please? Yeah, no, I mean, just, okay.
I apologize. We are supposed to recognize our veterans. So if we have any veterans in the audience, please stand. Thank you for your service.
Awesome. Okay, the roll call, please.
Councilmember Johnson.
Present.
Councilmember Manning.
Present.
Councilmember Reyes English. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Montero.
Present.
Mayor Vargas.
I'm here, present. Thank you, ma'am. We have, just a quick reminder about the decorum. There's no need to go over the details of that. We've established something already, and it seems like everything's been going well, and everybody's been awesome about things. So, but for the sake of efficiency, we have an ordinance that we had established, limiting the speakers during oral communications to about 3 minutes, and limiting the presentations also up to 10 minutes. Okay, and then at the end, the elected officials reports to 10 minutes, but I think it should be more like 5, just so that we can get out of here, usually at the end of the night. Yeah, I think we're going to have to make an amendment to this thing, but other than that, we have a presentation by Republic Services on legal dumping and abandoned items.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Okay, let's see. I'm Dawn Benton from Republic Services. And I am here to talk about illegal dumping and abandoned items. So first of all, what really is illegal dumping, right? So illegal dumping is dumping of any waste, regardless of what it is. It can be used oil, it could be furniture, it could be trash, litter, landscaping, any of those things. If you dump any of those upon any public right-of-way, city property, or private property without consent of the owner. And some of the causes that we have found for illegal dumping have to do with not just residents, but businesses, residents, people traveling through. They don't know or understand how the collection process works for bulk items. Bulk items can be furniture, it could be mattresses, it could be sofas, bookcases, any of those kind of things. Bulk items are not extra trash bags. That's extra trash. But people don't know or understand the process for collecting these things, and they don't call. Also, residents will move in or out, and they think somebody else is responsible to take care of those items. And also, they are not sometimes concerned with any particular consequences because maybe they haven't had to experience any. But those are some of the reasons that we found for illegal dumping or for abandoning items. To combat illegal dumping, what we've done at Republic Services and in working with some of the cities where we serve, we provide a quarterly newsletter with information that describes how bulk items can be scheduled for collection. We've got social media posts that we create. In your city, I think I've even seen it in the past couple of years on your local cable station. And then we also have red tag warnings. And I brought these samples just so that you can see. We work really closely with your public works team, and we come to them with articles and items to place here. And you can see in the most recent notice there is the bulk item set out guidelines and phone numbers and information to call for bulk item pickup. And also, we publicized your 311 app so that people can know that there's always a way to make it work. Also, we have available this kind of outreach at our information booths. We will be there on Saturday with another booth that we will give out information and some of these so that people can revisit the information. We leave in some of the cities even Chamber of Commerce. We leave on the information table out there information about illegal dumping. And again, when we do encounter this, we put a red tag. So we tag the item itself. We take a picture of the item. We take a picture so that we can capture the address. And then that picture and information is sent to the owner's address so that they can know what's happening at their site. Also, another way to combat illegal dumping that we've encountered is not just the photos, but getting the city involved. And as an example, I offer our neighbors to the north in Inglewood, when bulk items or illegal dumping is encountered, the code enforcement or the officers will go and literally look at the pile, and they will find an item with an address, and those are the people that get the bill. So those are just some things that have happened locally to help with illegal dumping. Also wanted to mention that it's not just a problem that's limited to Hawthorne. It's like a big fat deal everywhere that we work. We find it happens really daily, especially on those parts of town that border city of Los Angeles. So they just come right across the street and place the items. So it's a monster of a problem, but we're working hard to combat that. Okay. Now, what's the difference between scheduled bulk collection and abandoned items or illegally dumped item? Scheduled bulk items are things where people call in to us, let us know specifically what the items are, and then we schedule the truck and driver to be, we put a route together of all the items that have called in for your city for that day, and those are the things that we schedule to collect. We know what we're facing, we know what we have to pick up, so we know how to schedule and how to plan and what we need to do to get all of it taken care of. We ask that people itemize what the items are that they want us to collect. And the reason for that is not, extra managing of people, but we've had situations where customers or residents will put out something for disabled veterans, or they'll put it out for Salvation Army, or they'll put it out for somebody else, and then we don't want to take it by mistake. So we ask for an itemized list. Also, your agreement, your franchise agreement is very generous in allowing 20 items per year. So we can pick up 4 times a year, and we can pick up 5 items each time. if there is a commercial business or if there are more than 20 items or more than the allotted amount, then there is pickup for those available, but it's at a fee. I just want to also publicize the phone number for everybody out there that can call in if they want to schedule these items. We ask that you schedule it at least 24 hours in advance of your service day by calling 800-299-4898. Again, that's 800-299-4898 ahead of the service day, and we'll get that on schedule for you. Also, reminder, commercial businesses can have bulk items collected, but there's a fee for those.
Through the chair. Hey, Don, can you just clarify for the people what this service day is? Because you know how some people don't get it, so we know because sometimes it's on Tuesday, sometimes it's on Wednesday. So please.
So if for residential service, if it's the day that the trash guy comes to pick up at your house. If you're at a multifamily property, like an apartment, you can call in ahead of any one of those days. You're welcome. Okay, so something that we wanted to make sure everybody is aware of, it's bulk items are not just secretly stashed away and dumped in the alley overnight, although it does happen quite a bit. The bulk items can magically appear on your own front lawn. When you wake up in the morning, pow, you got, you know, a sofa and a love seat there. So it's not just in secret, it's out there. Also, we have the 800 number available, and we keep track of abandoned items so that residents that don't want to be involved, but they just want to report that they've seen this, they can report that to us, and we report abandoned items to the city every month. We can track down the areas that have the most activity. And so also something to know is that property owners could be subject to a penalty for items that are unscheduled and left out in front of their property. Okay. In other news,
Okay.
you have probably seen around town our new trucks. We are testing the EV trucks in the market. So throughout the South Bay, you might see them going around. They're in test mode right now. And what they're doing is they're trying to see that they can make it through a full service day on one charge, or if they have to go back and forth. They are so cool. I can't wait till you have Touch a Truck, if you're having that. I hope you are. They're so cool to see. I had a chance to ride in one. I had a chance to sit in there. They have all of these safety features that are just like your new car. They've got cameras galore. You can see better. Also in the front, you can see down to the street, so you can see the crosswalk, so there's less potential for, unfortunate events. There is zero vehicle emissions, so that's something really cool that we've got going. And then the regulatory requirements, we are on point with those. However, they were set previously, but now we're just ready just in case. And then also something that we've found during the testing is that they're so quiet that a lot of customers wait till they hear the truck in the neighborhood before they put their trash out. So, surprise, surprise, they miss us, right? Same 10-ton payload, and again, available for Touch a Truck events. It'll look really good sitting out front of your nice new city hall with a nice new clean truck.
Angie wants to go. She's going to first to try it out and jump in there.
Come on down.
I'd love to have one of the electric vehicles there. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Love to show it. And then finally, if I could get there. Okay, so in other news, we want to share with you that we have an app. There's an app for that, right? Republic Services, available on Apple and Android, and you can use that. You can get it in wherever you get your apps, and you can save a lot of time by scheduling all kinds of service. You can pay your bill, you can review your account, you can make a request for service. Like if you want to order a bulk item service, you could do that, and you can get other customer support and other opportunities to say what you want. And some of that information can go into our surveys, and also you can request copies of different information. So we've got an app for that. And if you have any questions, please give us a call, 800-399-4898. Happy to answer anything you have.
Don, is our city manager, Josh, or whoever, no, city manager, are we connected to their? No, you yourself, sir. You're the main guy right here. No, are we connected to their through 311 app? Are we connected to Republic Services? Is there a way, or can
To
we
my
take a-
knowledge, there is a tab on the My 31 Hawthorne, but I can double check that. But this is new from what Ms. Harris said, but I don't know if we have this updated on our website just yet.
Oh, yeah. If
We
we
can
could,
send the link.
Okay, please.
if there's a link, or if our IT and our technical people could just figure that out, and then
Absolutely.
they either can go through the Republic Services option, or through our 311 app, which will go send the information to you guys.
We found that it works really well for commercial customers that maybe they have multiple locations or multiple sites, and they actually download it on their phones, and they can pay their bills and everything, do whatever they need by phone. On the app.
That's awesome. I have a couple questions. Well, a couple comments, and just comments and maybe questions for our city attorney. I guess for the residents out there, the people who are out here, and we just have to understand that our community is a big rental community, and it's very transitory, meaning that people don't stay. A lot of people don't stay in Hawthorne and some of the apartments that they rent for super long time. So they find it easy, I guess, for them to leave the sofas or whatever couches on the front of whatever their apartment complexes are, and they just make their way over here. And like you said, they don't know whose responsibility it is or where they take it, and they gotta make a quick exit to go to the next place of residence, etc. So it's not necessarily that I don't think it's necessarily that they're doing it like with bad intentions. It's just a need-based decision that they make. But we've heard some of the apartment owners and their management companies come before council and through other comments complaining about how our code enforcement has been citing them, but ultimately we just need to make sure that they dial up their management of these locations and use apps like yours, apps like 311 Up, the 311 app, to be able to get these items picked up. And if they don't take action, I think the penalties should be placed on these apartment owners. And that's why the next question I want to ask our city attorney, sir, do you know what the penalties are for this type of thing where people
For illegal dumping, we just passed an ordinance of penalties for illegal dumping. The fine is a criminal matter. If it's filed as a criminal case, the fine is up to $1,000.
Much?
1,000.
Yep.
1,000 plus it's up to 6 months in jail.
6 months in jail. Is there an opportunity to dial that up from the 1,000?
No, that's the maximum allowed for code violations under the California law.
So if that's in place, all what we have to do is just pursue those types of
Correct.
cases.
The problem is enforcement is when usually you need some type of evidence that of particular person dumping this stuff, and that's more difficult. But as a code enforcement, if it's on the property, then the property owners may be held responsible.
Okay. So then I think it's worth pursuing. I know that Councilwoman Angie Reyes English and myself, we've been very conscious about this, and we've been talking about it. And just because it seems like it's going to increase the amount of workload for our staff, I think it's worth pursuing so that we could keep our city looking or cleaning it up in certain parts a little bit more, and just making sure certain other parts are kept clean. So I would like you to strongly anticipate that that's what we're going to be wanting.
So typically, we had a policy with code enforcement officers For code violations, usually give them a warning and compliance period, and then administrative citations for fines. But with illegal dumping, we've instructed them that it's going to be filed as a straight misdemeanor.
Okay. I have no problem with that. I just think that this whole waiting for them to comply, you know, if we don't need to, we could just go ahead and just start exacting the proper penalties.
To the chair? Yeah.
Yeah,
Can I
absolutely.
ask a question also? And yes, we just presented some policy legislation to address the illegal dumping. That would include illegal dumping signs that are going to be posted in alleyways and other areas that show the municipal code, along with the, you know, if found, whatever, if caught, right?
I think that direction was given to Public Works.
Yes, and we're currently working on that item.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
But Mr. City Attorney, in order to be, that does, say we didn't have any of those signs, we could still exact those penalties, correct?
Correct.
So this is just some type of, to educate them.
And to discourage that kind of activity, yes.
Okay, because that's our aim to begin with, right?
Correct.
Yes, and then you, go ahead.
Thank you, Don, for being here. Thank you. Now, to help us out with this notice of a new finding, right, $1,000 if they do illegal, can you work with our staff to put a notice on the bills that goes out to the owners every month, telling them that there is a $1,000 fine if illegal dumping is on their property, or the renter move out and leave the couch and the mattress outside?
That's a good idea. We can do that.
Yes, please work with the city manager to put that notice that there's going to be a fine, because a lot of people would come and complain, say, "Oh, I didn't know there was a fine."
Sure.
So I appreciate that.
that.
Thank you.
Before I pass it on to Councilwoman Johnson, does our staff or does Republic Services staff know if the customers that receive those notices, and if there's certain types of notifications, primarily like the one that we're talking about, do we have any evidence or any information, data that tells us how many people do actually read that? Is it going to be an effective way of sending this message out? I mean, it's a valid question, because we say, you know, we're doing our due diligence, but
I have no way to know that. I can use myself as an example, and I never read that stuff.
that's what that's kind of what I'm suspecting. You know what I mean, Councilman?
Through
Mayor
the
Pro Tem?
chair, I don't want them to come here, like, say, 3 months down the road to say, "Oh, I didn't know." So we can say, "We had a notice on your bill. It was sent to your address." So it's a way for us to prevent them to come here and complain, say they didn't receive the notice. Because you know, the cities, we're not going to send them no notice. We're just going to put signs. But to me, because since it's a free service that the public service is going to provide to us, to put a notice there, maybe in red, and say it's going to be a fine in Hawthorne starting, you know, if illegal dump is on your property. Because these property owners, especially the apartment building, all around Moneta Gardens area, they don't care. The tenants move out, they put them outside. The storage place, when they empty their storage, you know, like the public storage, they put stuff on the sidewalks, right? And then they don't, and then like you said, sometimes they're putting in somebody's sidewalk, right? So those are the kind of things to give people notice, because you see how back in 2019, when we gave them 20 bulk items instead of 3. Remember, it used to be 3. So they still putting those bulk items on the sidewalk, and they don't call that 1-800 number to say, "I'm going to put this item out, can pick it up on Tuesday or Wednesday." So we need to make sure that these people understand that, okay, you receive a notice because it was sent through your bill. It was there. You didn't read it, so you're going to pay the fine, or you're going to go to court.
Good. Point well taken. Go ahead.
To the chair. Quick question. Are there more pickups for apartment complexes, or is it just 20 for the entire complex, no matter how large it is?
20 is the total.
Okay. And maybe something to help out with notifications. Do you have a flyer or something that we could give to landlords? Because landlords, if I'm not mistaken, have to have a license in order to rent. And maybe we can include that flyer with when they renew their licenses to let them know it's their responsibility to educate their tenants on pickups.
Sure, we can come up with something. We'll work with the Public Works team on that.
Thank you.
Good.
To the chair, thank you. So Don, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate the presentation, and like always, you guys are really good about coming and educating us and telling us basically, reporting out on how you guys are working with the city and what you're doing, especially with Public Works. And I got to give it to Public Works because hand in hand, you guys do great work, including other haulers that we have. So we're doing all we can to address all the illegal dumping. Obviously, we can't control what people do, but we are aware of the messaging. We are aware of public service announcements. We use Channel 22 to do that. Perhaps we could do that again, a public service announcement. And leaflets and disclosures and bills and things like this are important. But the main issue is obviously the apartment complexes with, dumping happening every day. It's every day, every day. And similar to what the mayor said, they move in, they move out. But we can't control people's acts, habits, whatever you want to call it. But we are doing the best we can to address it. And working collectively in efforts such as yours here today with the new app, with the new electric vehicles and things like this, I believe our city is moving forward on how to better address these issues. And that's the main concern from residents. And so thank you again for coming, and kudos to your team, because you have a hardworking team, because they're doing things that normally, having to haul out the big Benz and helping seniors and helping folks like this. This is another thing that we have questions about on how to help serve the seniors that can't otherwise. But thank you.
Absolutely.
Last comment before we move on to the next item, Mayor Pro
Don't
Tem.
go away, Don. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, first, I have to echo what Ms. English was saying. So thank you for all the partnerships, because, you come for the community cleanup. You come at least twice a year to do shredder and e-pickups and all those stuff. So thank you very much. My question is not related to the bulk item, but it's something that I've been struggling, even in my complex, is the food waste recycling, right?
Okay.
The SB 1383. How are we doing on that? Because I understand there was a period that they will allow people to still screw up, but then they're going to stop putting a fine, right? So can you talk a little bit about that? And that's my last question, I promise you.
Well, as a matter of fact, the CalRecycle was just here last week, and we took a tour of the city with some of the Public Works folks, and they were impressed with what they saw. So they certainly would have told us if you were not, and you would have already heard about that. But they were able to actually see some of your businesses with the program in use. They were able to flip lids and look inside, and they can see that the customers are using the containers, that there is actual food in with the green waste. They were able to see that. We're able to take them around and see McDonald's on Hawthorne. We also took them through the commercial properties in some of the apartment areas. And so far, it's a good grade. Our route supervisor, he's happy to work here because it seems like your residents, they get it. Not a lot of challenges in this area, but if there happens to be one, we'll put the tag. Nobody has received any kind of an actual penalty at this point, but they have been receiving these tags. We will, we submit a report every month of the tags that were placed. And we have a couple of people actually working in the field that are assigned to your city that are sustainability advisors. So they pop in and they do education, outreach, things like that, and train folks at these businesses And some of the apartments, a lot of places don't have managers on site, so they'll grab a resident when they can, just so somebody there will know, and then we're able to send a follow-up mailer to the site. So Hawthorne is doing well.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Don.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Good seeing you.
Mayor Pro Tem, you're going to introduce Mackenzie Neely Wright, Area Manager, External Affairs, AT&T.
Okay, Ms. McKenzie, so take the podium as a new representative for AT&T, so she's just coming to give us an update. And I know there is like some type of a hearing going on, so she'll explain. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Does this normally stay here, the computer? Okay, I'll just like work on the side of it.
You can close it. You can close it.
Oh, I can close it?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to mess up anything on my first visit. Awesome. Okay, so good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members in the city of Hawthorne. My name is Mackenzie Neely Wright. I do external and legislative affairs for AT&T. I am responsible for the South Bay cities, the West Side cities, Mid and South Los Angeles, and also Malibu. So I have quite a bit of a territory. And what I wanted to do first is just introduce myself as your representative. My colleague before had this city because she was a resident, but she has now left us to move on to a wonderful opportunity, so I will be taking over for her. What I wanted to come to talk to you all about is a few AT&T updates. We are heavily trying to modernize the network and transition from our legacy service of copper and transition into fiber. And there are a bit of some misunderstandings that come with that transition, and so it's my job to kind of communicate that. So currently this year, AT&T is sponsoring a bill, AB 470, and I provided a fact sheet for you all. And this is authored by Assemblymember Tina McKenna, and basically it's talking about carrier of last resort reform and creating a transition away from our copper network. Now, a lot of people do not understand how AT&T got into having the regulation of carrier of last resort. So if we go back into the 70s, the federal government determined that AT&T was a monopoly, and they decided that they wanted to break up AT&T into smaller bills. And so in this area, we had PAC Bell. I think everyone should remember PAC Bell. But there was PAC Bell, Ma Bell, Bell South, Bell North, Ma Bell, and that worked for a while until it didn't. And the long and short of it was that long-distance telephone service was becoming too expensive. I remember growing up and being yelled at, like, if I made a long-distance telephone call. And to hang up the phone immediately if I was making a long-distance telephone call. And so that became an issue. And in the mid to late 90s, early 2000s, they decided to allow AT&T to be a monopoly, and that's where the purchasing of the bells happened, and that's where the birth of Verizon happened. They bought up some of the bells. You had Frontier buy up some of the bells and things of that sort. And so then the regulation of carrier of last resort came onto all of the telecommunication companies. This is not solely an AT&T problem. These are all telecommunication companies. But at the time that it was implemented, it was about 56 to 58 million customers that had home telephone service. And so it was a lucrative business, and no one seemed to care. You fast forward to 2025, there's less than 400,000 people who have telephone service that in the copper landline space. And since that time frame, we've also expanded our wireless network. We've also expanded fiber building and voice over IP and other voice services that you can have in your home. And so now it's time to reconsider that carrier of last resort regulation that's been put on AT&T, and that's what this bill is looking to do. So on the other document that we have, I just want to highlight some key principles from the bill, AB 470. One of the big concerns is Californians being left behind, as well as Californians not having access to reliable 911 services. And what is kind of helpful to know is that though you have the CPUC that regulates the phone companies, they're also regulated on a federal level by the FCC. And so the FCC mandates that no voice solution has is not able to provide a 911 access, and also to have it geolocated. Generally on your cell phones, when you call 911, you'll notice it goes into this mode where it's like tracking your location. When you make a 911 call on voice over IP, it does the exact same thing. And also, to be clear, in LA County, the only carrier of last resorts are AT&T and Frontier. So there are a lot of people that have Cox, that have Comcast or Spectrum, that have Verizon, and they'll say, I don't want to lose my home phone. This is not a regulation that would change anything for them. This is only speaking to customers who have a copper landline telephone service. So with the idea of no customers being left behind and not having reliable 911 service, that's addressed in the bill, that no one's left behind, and that's an FCC-regulated mandate. There's also a misnomer that this is something that happens immediately, and that's not true. This is a phased approach. It takes many years to make this happen. The first step is getting passed through the state, and then the next step is to go through the FCC, where they do a very detailed market analysis to make sure that there is no demand and that there is a smooth transition for customers. This bill also addresses well-served areas versus areas where there are no homes, no businesses, no customers. There is a portion of the state that is like desert and forest, like the Angeles National Forest, where we at one point had a need for a telephone. But since that time, there are satellite phones, there's walkie-talkies that have been used. And so in areas where we have no demand, that would be the first to transition. And then the next would be well-served areas. And well-served areas are defined as areas where there are 3 or more voice alternatives in place, which is a change from the bill that we did last year. And one of those 3 alternatives has to be a wired alternative, which means that it would be voice over IP or voice over broadband, something to allow, since that seems to be a concern, something that's wired and not just a wireless technology. And then also, I sent this in an email to you all. We have a new voice solution in homes in areas that we may not have our fiber service, and it's available anywhere that we have our wireless technology. That's called AT&T Phone Advance. And so it's a device that connects into your home, that you plug it in, and it connects to our AT&T wireless, not Wi-Fi, but wireless. And then you connect it to your phone. You get the dial tone, all the things that you're used to with the home solution, but it's operating through your wireless technology on your phone. And it can also even connect to your phone jacks, so that all of your jacks throughout your home are connected. So this is how much we're modernizing our technology. And that's considered an alternative as well. And then the last area are less than well-served areas, and these are areas that would not be transitioned at this time, and the bill does not impact. The transition throughout this entire process is supposed to be collaborative. We intend to be transparent throughout the entire process, and there's also a challenge process along with the bill, so that if customers do not feel that there are 3 or more alternatives that they can challenge, then AT&T will pay for that through a third party to make sure that there are alternatives in place. So those are some of the key areas of the bill. And at the same time, the CPUC has decided to review the carrier of last resort regulation this year. Last year, AT&T did an application with them to ask for relief from carrier of last resort. That was not successful. And so this year, they've decided to look at the regulation for all of the telecommunication companies. And so another thing that I wanted to make sure that the residents of Hawthorne and all of the cities in the South Bay are aware of why this is happening and what the notice that they received means. And so there's public participation hearings that are happening, one in LA County, which is actually this Thursday, in Walnut. Please do not boo, I don't choose the locations, but Walnut is rather far for us, but that's the only one in LA County, and the rest are remote or in San Diego or other areas. But that gives you an opportunity to voice your opinion on the regulation itself through the CPUC. The timing of it is not ideal for AT&T, but we have to, as a mandated regulation, inform our customers of that. So those are the updates from AT&T, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, thanks so much for coming. Truly appreciate your presentation. So the previous rep had reached out and told me about they were installing fiber on the east side of Hawthorne, which is that area is called Holly Park. And so I just wanted to find out what was the status of that installation.
I'll have to follow up. I'm not sure at the top of my head.
Sure.
But I do know that some of the delays that we have with fiber can sometimes be on our permitting process. I have that issue actually in an unincorporated area of LA County, where there are different permits to get from the manhole to the sidewalk and then from the sidewalk to the individual property. And sometimes they'll give us a blanket for the manhole part, and then for the sidewalk, they want a permit per each property. And that's a lengthy process. That takes like 2 to 3 months to complete. So I'm happy to look into the Holly Park, you said east side of Hawthorne?
Yes.
To understand what the status is with that. But hopefully that's not a hiccup on the permitting side.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. So I'll see you at Sabecog.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, ma'am. And definitely going to be reading up more about this. Especially to understand all the jargon that was being thrown out there. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Guidelines for oral communications.
Pursuant to Government Code Section 54954.3, all remarks should be addressed to the City Council as a body and not to any individual council member. During oral communications, speakers shall have 3 minutes to state their business. The Brown Act prohibits the City Council from providing a detailed response or acting upon any items not contained on the agenda. The governing bodies as a body shall have the discretion at the close of oral communications to refer any remarks to the city manager for study, investigation, report, and/or recommendation.
Pastor Gwich, please.
It's not really oral communications. I just want to invite everybody to come to our HLMA meeting on Thursday. So we're having a breakfast, and we'd love to have anybody from the city or in this room that would like to come out and celebrate the Palm Sunday week with us. We're going to have a breakfast, give away some palms, and pray for the city and our people in the city. So you're all invited. Love to have you come out. And it's at My Church, which is like straight down Hawthorne Boulevard and a left on 137. So you're all invited. And
it would be a right, wouldn't it be?
Did I say left?
Yeah, you said
Scratch
left.
that. I meant
You're sending
right.
us to one of the other churches.
No, it's going to be, that would be bad, yeah. But we're going to be there for mine, and we'd love to have you guys. If you'd like to come out, we'll pray for you anyways. So we like what you're doing, and we want to keep holding you up before the Lord. So love to have you come out.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else wishing to address the council, please form a line. Please form a line so we can know how many people are going to speak. Go ahead.
Hi, Ruben with North Hawthorne Community Association. First, I'd like to thank Mr. Vaughn. Thank you so much for, we were talking about our Easter egg hunt. Very successful. We had close to 500 people out there. It was pretty, as you can see, I'm burnt. So thank you, Vaughn, for helping us out. Also, Dawn Harris, she helped us out. As you know, you always need all the support you can get when it comes to these events. And also, Ms. Faye Johnson, thank you so much for helping out. We were just out there having fun with the kids, and man, it got overwhelming for a little bit. So, but other than that, everything came through. We're going to have more baskets next year, and we're going to have more events this coming year as well. I know I wanted to touch in regards of the parking. Our parking situation, as you know, is not getting any better. We have a lot of complaints about it. Yes, I know you guys tried with the whole T parking and so on, but it helped a little bit. Right now, if people, I think about, 5-6 years ago, we had a petition with hundreds of names on it in regards to preferential parking throughout North Hawthorne. If we would have gone through that, I don't think we even would have needed to spend any money on the whole T parking. We would have fixed the issue. That's something that we need. That's a conversation that we need to be having soon. And I think financially, if we, Mayor, if we can sit down one of these days and talk about it, financially, it's very resourceful when it comes to for the city as well. And that's something that a lot of neighbors, they're in for. Even the renters are out there, they want something like that because a lot of people have many vehicles that they don't use and they just park them out. We have people that just leave them out there and just come back next street sweeping. We have mechanic shops that they just push their cars out there and leave them out there as well. We have video footage of people like mechanic shops pushing their old vehicles and they get free towing because they don't need it for some reason. They just let the towing take it out. Maybe it's one of those cars they're just gonna tow out. So we're having a lot of these issues, especially around the Imperial, Inglewood area. We've had a lot of complaints about that. So preferential parking throughout, in order for it to work, it should be throughout North Hawthorne. Because as you guys know, years back, you guys were doing kind of single streets or so, and everybody was going to the next street. And then you got all frustrated. I remember that, Mr. Mayor. So what we need to do is just kind of do the throughout. Because also when you have the concerts, your favorite ones, what was it, like Britney Spears or something, and Intuit Dome, they love to park in North Hawthorne, and then they get Ubered in, and it's much cheaper than the parking cost in Intuit Dome. So let's work together. Let us, some of you guys know how to get in contact with me, and also any more information, northhawthorne.com, and also our Facebook. Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Thank you. Next person.
Hello, everyone. My name is Deion Evans. I'm a disabled veteran. I'm also homeless in the city of Hawthorne. Since August the 16th, when I lost my apartment, I've been staying in hotels looking for an apartment. But I've been experiencing, I guess, with each and every hotel in Hawthorne, they have some made-up policy where you can't stay past 21 days and ask you to check out and check back in, so you won't become a resident guest, and you would get a cheaper rate because you're homeless and you stay there. I've been having a situation with the Ramada Hotel, with the Candlewood Hotel, with the Holiday Inn Hotel, with the Comfort Inn Hotel, with the Deluxe Hotel, with the El Rancho Inn Hotel, with the El Segundo Inn Hotel, and they all violate Civil Code 1940.1. When I called the police to enforce the Civil Code, the police statements to me that they don't enforce civil violations. They enforce criminal law, which is true. I brought it to the city attorney's office. I would say like in December of 2024. I spoke to somebody in the office. The city attorney wasn't there. It was explained to me that you can't speak to the city attorney. He only represents the city and the city's interests, which is true. But he's also responsible to go after businesses that violate the Civil Code or any federal or city, state code in the city of Hawthorne. And each and every one of these hotels is in violation of the Civil Code. For the last, I would say August, the last 7, 8 months, I've been moving around from hotel to hotel until I find me a new location or find me another apartment, which has been very difficult because I'm a disabled veteran. I'm on a fixed income. I'm coming here today to ask the city attorney to address each and every hotel that I named today, because each and every hotel was in violation of the Civil Code. I have proof and documentation to give you and prove the violation, which also would benefit the city of Hawthorne because there are fines and fines that should be paid to the city of Hawthorne because of this violation by the hotel. I'm coming here to make you guys aware and see if I can get some kind of assistance in regards to who enforces civil code violations and what direction do I need to go to get assistance, because I don't want to keep calling the Hawthorne Police Department. We don't seem to be getting along when I call them. Like I say, their interest is only into criminal law and it's not into civil law. So I'm here tonight to ask the city council for directions.
Thank you, sir. Civil Code
1940.1.
exactly, and that's a civil matter, so you're gonna have to probably get a lawyer for that. But the main issue that I see for you is that you're homeless. What we can't assist you in suing, but what we can assist you is providing you housing, and that's where we come in. We have our city manager. Who could we refer him to? Who could he talk to be able to resolve that
I think-
aspect of it all?
The first step would fill out a citizen report, if you don't mind providing your first and last name. Obviously, you did that.
First name is Dion, D-O-N.
No.
Oh.
But the Sergeant Arms in the back, he has a form. If you can give me your information, your phone number, if you have an email, and I can connect you with our homeless service coordinator to maybe facilitate housing for yourself.
Like I say, I'm looking for permanent housing myself because I get it. I
I
have
understand.
been,
We have to start somewhere.
right.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
my hope was to address the civil code violation that seemed to be overlooked in the city of Hawthorne by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
I'm sorry,
7,
sir, your
7
time is up.
hotels.
So you've been instructed, sir, though to fill out that form, and you'll be contacted if you are interested in having us help you with your lack of housing. That's something we could assist you. But most likely, what you're going to end up having to do is hiring your own lawyer and pursuing this in a civil court. Thank you.
But aren't the city of Hawthorne
sir.
supposed to enforce the rules
City
too?
clerk?
Sorry, sir, your time is up.
No, I mean, yeah, you could talk to our sergeant of arms, and he'll discuss this further with you. Oh yeah, well, he has to get his own lawyer. Yeah, I mean, it's like something. No, thank you, guys. Anybody else wishing to address the city council? Okay, if not, I declare oral communication close ordered. Try to keep track of it. Okay, city clerk?
Mr. Mayor, I have 7 items on the consent calendar. They're items 3 through 9 for your consideration and approval. Item 3, City Treasurer requests approval of the warrants. Item 4, approval of City Council meeting minutes for the regular meetings of April 23rd, 2024, May 14th, 2024, May 28th, 2024, and the special meeting of April 19th, 2024. A resolution 8516, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Hawthorne, California, ordering the Director of Public Works, City Engineering to prepare a report for the Street Lighting Maintenance District of the City of Hawthorne for fiscal year 2025-2026, as required by the Streets and Highways Code Section 22622. Item 6, Resolution number 8517, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Hawthorne, California, establishing an on-street handicap parking space at 15022 Gherkin Avenue. Item 7, Resolution number 8518, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Hawthorne, California, approving a second amendment to the professional services agreement with the Los Angeles Centers for Alcohol and Drug Abuse. Item 8, Resolution number 8519, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Hawthorne, California, opposing Senate Bill 79. Item 9, Resolution number 8520, resolution of the City Council of the City of Hawthorne, California, opposing Assembly Bill 1061, Quirk Silva, for adoption. One moment. One second. We have to vote separately. Minus item 4, everyone vote with, because of the minutes.
I'll make the appropriate motions.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion on item 3, item 5, item 7, item 8, and item 9.
Move.
Yeah, sorry, for the record, I wanted to pull a couple of items just so that it's noted, okay?
Oh, yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I'd like to pull item 6 and I'd like to pull item 8. Thank you for discussion.
Okay, so I will restate my motion. I make a motion on item 3, item 5, item 7, and item 9.
I second it.
Please vote.
The votes are in. The vote reflects mayor and council voting yes.
I make a motion for item 4.
Second.
Please vote.
The votes are in.
Not all votes. Oh,
The vote
okay,
reflects
yeah,
mayor and council voting yes.
that's fine. I understand. There's item 6 has been pulled for discussion. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to provide some comments with regards to Resolution 8517, Item 6, which is a resolution asking for establishing an on-site or on-street handicap parking space at a location that's obviously public here. I just want to remind anyone that has a handicap plate card, you could park wherever there's a handicap location designated on any street, as long as you have the blue plate card that you could place on your window. Just because it gives an address does not mean that it's solely for that household or that property. So just again, FYI, for your information, anyone that has a blue handicap plate card is allowed to park in any handicap space as long as you have a handicap plate card. It's not designated to just individuals that are listed, such as on Item 6. Thank you.
I make a motion.
I'll move.
Okay, a motion has been made and seconded. Please vote.
The votes are in. The voting reflects mayor and council voting yes.
Discussion on number 8.
Thank you, Mayor. My discussion is basically the proposed opposition from council, I'm assuming. Normally, these items are brought to us on whether or not individually we want to sign on to an opposing letter or in support. I just kind of feel that it was never brought to my attention that I'm going to be opposing something. If you looking at item number 8, it's opposing Senate Bill 79. I'd like previously, if you remember, Mayor, we had an opportunity to either provide a yes or no, because at the end of the day, we might not necessarily agree, but at the end of the day, we have a choice. So.
Well, I just want to clarify, Councilwoman English, that this is number 8 is on opposing AB 1061. And then there is another item, I think that's number 7. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's number, I'm sorry, 8 is 79. I'm sorry. I got it mixed up with number 9.
Yeah, and that goes, I'm sorry, I'm glad you brought that, but it's already been passed, right? So, like item 9's already been passed. With regards to item 8, these types of items is asking basically the council to take an opposition without individual notice. So I'd like to, better understand what these bills are before lending my name to either an opposition or support. I'm going to not vote on any, obviously 9, but I'd like to see the letter, or I'd like to see what's the language that the city is using. But again, I think it should be individually choice that we make versus, a straight up or down vote.
Okay, so the letter is attached as an Exhibit A, and it has a signature place for 5 council members, and if you don't want to sign on that letter, then you don't have to sign on that.
Yeah, I'd like to, if I could ask the city manager to please either forward these letters to the individually to the council members, or place it where we could see it at our offices. And I think it's just something that I would like to know in advance whether or not I would support something like this. I don't want to abstain on stuff like this. I'd rather just say yes or no, because all bills, in my opinion, are important, especially where it affects the residents of Hawthorne. But at the end of the day, in my time of campaigning, there was also folks and residents that actually welcomed the ADUs and things like this to their homes, which helped them, right? Whether, these are the types of bills that are coming to us, and a lot of times our hands are tied and they're coming anyway. So
that's actually my fault. I thought the direction was given to come back with this opposition of 79 and 1061. So if you prefer and you have the consensus of the council, you could delay this. You could just table this item, and we could bring it back so that each individual council members can make their own decision whether to support or oppose.
Yeah.
I think there's a sense of urgency, and I think that we had a discussion at the last council meeting on this, and this is just an attack by in particular, just the the idiocy of one of the senators up there to come up with things like this and put his, his fellow senators and assembly members in a bad position. And it's basically taking away local control. I think you are correct in saying that there's people that are supportive of housing, but the thing is that the state Senate and the state assembly doesn't know what's best for Hawthorne. Our municipality and those people, the leadership here, are the ones that know how these types of allowances for density of units is going to impact our community. This is eroding. This is just basically killing our local control, in which we don't have anything to say, and people can go over the counter and request these types of high density type of projects within the city of Hawthorne. And so it's not giving us control, it's basically attacking our local control to be able to make those decisions. We might come up with say, hey, this is appropriate in this location, but then we might say, hey, this area is already impacted, and we're just adding and exacerbating the problems that we have. I do understand what you're saying. We have the ability of signing off on this, but I think these are the perfect opportunities to be able to say that, hey, we end up making the decisions on what's good for Hawthorne, not the state. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. Through the chair. Yeah, we kind of like discussed this last meeting, and that's why we direct to Robert to create that resolution, because it was also recommended by the South Bay COG, or the 16 cities, and also the I think the contract cities and the independent cities. All of them are opposing this bill, so they was asking cities to send letters or to send a resolution to the state opposing, because, like Mr. Mayor said, is basically a high dense bill that allows to build density housing up to 7 storage with no CEQA, with no planning commission approval, or the planning department. It goes ministerial. So basically a right to do it without the city's input. So, and that is where we're trying to oppose it, because we know Senator Wiener just want to build high density in places that it would destroy the single family homes structure. So that's what we're trying to not to allow this kind of bills to go through, because we know people would come and just would like to build on Holly Park, on Holly Glen, on Ramona Track, even in all these areas that are already dense populated. So that's why we need to watch out.
And can I interject? And we need to be careful, because the thing is, guys, I don't think you understand, if we give an inch, I would love for us as a unanimously support this, okay? All 5 of us on council. Because the thing is, if we give an inch, then they'll start declaring Hawthorne Boulevard as a, as a transit area of high transit. And what do we have on both sides? We have single-family residence area. We have the Ramona, and we have the Burley Tract. And Rosecrans could then be designated a high transit corridor. And then our Holly Glen residents will be impacted. And do you see how if we give an inch, and if we don't fight back, this could just lead us in a certain direction. So, of course, I do ask my council colleagues, it'd be great just to do this unanimously, but it could still be up to you if you don't want to sign on to this, guys. I'd like to just move forward with this.
It's unfortunate. I could say 5 McDonald's in Hawthorne does the same thing, right? But anyway, there's thoughts that could go either way. Again, we represent the whole city of Hawthorne. It's unfortunate that former administrators here on the council provided for the situation that we're in today, which is, highly dense apartment complexes to the east and prominently, other residents to the west, which is, back in the days was, selective, if you will, when it comes to who could live where. It's shameful that, we've come to now having to figure out where are we going to put residents here in Hawthorne. Housing is a very important subject. It's going to continue to be an important subject, just like water is and services. So for me, I can't, fully say for either bill, item 8 or 9, Assembly Bill 1061 includes 4 lot splits, right? And we tried to do that many years ago when we tried to rezone the city, especially along Imperial Highway for mixed use, work, live, and other housing ideas. And I would prefer to just kind of stay neutral, and I'm sure you guys have the support here on the council to do what you need to do, but I'm going to stay neutral. If I choose to do a letter, I'll send it directly, if you will, to the author, which in this case is Wiener and Quicksilva, right? I appreciate you guys' comments. I appreciate, my passion might not be your passion might not be my passion, but at the end of the day, we're going to respect what our thoughts are and how we're serving and governing the city.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question for you. Councilwoman Reyes English, item 9, would you like to have your name removed from that vote?
I would like to, stay at this time. I'm not going to abstain. I'm not going to abstain. What I'm saying is I'd like to do my own letter with my own name on it if I feel that strongly, versus being handed something and told I need to do something without really, saying that I had to do that. That's all.
But it's in the form of a resolution, so you could either abstain or vote against it or supporting it.
Or don't vote at all, right?
Abstain, basically, which is
Don't vote at all. I don't have to push
so,
any button.
and we're only talking about item number 8, which is the Senate Bill 79 from Senator Wiener.
Right. That was initially had I paid attention to 1061, Silva, Quicksilva would have probably been the same, but.
We have another speaker on the council then? Go ahead.
Hello. I was just going to say I do support it. And when I was reading the bill, it talks about we could possibly have buildings up to 7 stories high. I don't see that as something that we should be doing in our city, so I support it.
So I make a motion for the.
Any final comment over there on there?
I also support it. There's many of these bills that are not beneficial to the city, and I believe that city council needs to be the tip of the spear to protect the city from things that are coming out of Sacramento. And a lot of times we get a ton of complaints about, well, why are you guys doing this and why are you guys doing that? And our hands are tied. So, and then you have to choose the lesser of 2 evils that you're presented with, and there's nothing we can do. Well, what should have been done years ago was when these bills came up then, we should be fighting on behalf of the city, and we should activate the city to, these bills are here, now you guys say your voice, because this is just one letter. This is one letter that's coming from the council, which could end up in, the trash can. But if the community gets together and does the same thing when you line the halls in here and come at us about things that you don't want in the city and our hands are tied, now's the time to speak up. Now's the time to stop this, not after it's been done and we don't have a choice.
Final comment right here on my end. We have one gentleman did come up and talk about the parking situation, but every single meeting, it seems like we have somebody complaining about the parking. Everybody's complaining about the parking. So this, not standing up against this, will allow this problem of parking that we have in our city be exacerbated. Okay? That's why we need to push back on things like this, because at that point, whatever, there's not even permit parking will be able to help in a situation like that with the concentration of high density in certain parts of our community. We're doing a disfavor, actually, to certain parts of our community. Okay? And the tentacles for this type of stuff was going to reach our single family residence communities. Okay, guys? Bottom line. So I just really, really hope that this is a unanimous decision. So you got a motion?
Yes.
Second.
The votes are in. The voting reflects mayor and council voting yes, with Councilwoman Reyes English abstaining.
Thank you.
Item 10.
Now is the time and place for a public hearing for the Housing Authority Housing Choice Voucher Program 2025-2026 draft, 5-year plan, annual plan, and administrative plan. No written communications were received.
Is there anybody wishing to provide comment on this public hearing? If not, I'll declare the hearing closed, so ordered. I make a motion to approve the 2025-2026 draft 5-year plan, annual plan, and administrative plan, and would like to direct staff to file the required 5-year annual and administrative plans with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development on or before the due date of April 17, 2026. Please vote.
The votes are in. Voting reflects mayor and council voting yes.
Thank you. We have a second public hearing.
Now is the time and place for a public hearing and introduction of ordinance number 2256, amending section 10.44.080, effective permission to load or unload of vehicles and traffic of the Hawthorne Municipal Code, and making a finding that this amendment is not a project in compliance with CEQA. No written communications were received. Recommended motion, staff recommends that the City Council conduct a public hearing and introduce ordinance 2256.
Is there anybody who would like to provide comments on the public hearing? Okay, I have no one. If there's no further comments on this, I'll declare the hearing closed, so ordered. Madam Clerk, can you read the ordinance, please?
Ordinance number 2256, the first reading, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Hawthorne, California, amending section 10.44.080, effective permission to load or unload of chapter 10.44, traffic of the Hawthorne Municipal Code, and making a finding that this amendment is not a project in compliance with CEQA.
I introduce.
Okay, thank you, sir. The city manager's consent calendar. Madam Clerk, can you go ahead and read through those and introduce them, please?
Item 12, Housing Department Records Digitization Project. Item 13, Bridge of Hope Community Housing, BHCH City Guard Professional Services Agreement, Second Amendment. Item 14, resurfacing of runway 725 and resurfacing of taxiways and trench drain extension for Hawthorne Municipal Airport, project number 25-06, out to bid. Item 15, approval of the use of proposed military equipment by the Hawthorne Police Department pursuant to Assembly Bill 481. Item 16, agreement between the Hawthorne Police Department and Wrap Technologies for a 5-year contract for the purchase of Ebola Wrap devices in the amount of $122,631. Approval of blanket purchase order not to exceed $122,631,000 to Wrap Technologies for purchase of Ebola Wrap contract services. Item 17, American Dark Fiber City-owned conduit use agreement. Item 18, point-to-point wireless microwave replacement project. Item 19, Second Amendment to agreement between the City of Hawthorne and Harrison Associates Incorporated. Item 20, Second Amendment to the City Yard Consultant Agreement for Design Services. Second Amendment between the City of Hawthorne City and Reina Alamar, Architect, DBA RADA Consultant. Mr. Mayor, that concludes the City Manager's consent calendar. May I have a motion to approve items 12 through 20?
Can I pull 13, please?
Yes, ma'am. I make a motion on item 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
So moved.
Please vote.
The votes are in. Voting reflects mayor and council voting yes.
Discussion on 13.
So I just wanted to take the time to say that after the Women's History Month, I went over to the Bridge of Hope. We delivered gifts over there and also food. And one of the gentlemen came out and talked about how important having this Bridge of Hope location, and that he was a 20-year drug addict and that he turned his life around, and how he is so grateful to the city of Hawthorne for all that we've done, and that this program really works, and that he's so happy to be a part and so excited to help other people that are coming. And so I just thought it was important to mention that, to let folks know that we are, as a council, working really hard to make sure that we are helping our homeless population, not just with a place to stay, but also with drug addiction and mental health support as well. And so it just made me so proud to see how he's turned his life around and how he's influencing and pouring into other people that are coming at that location, and letting them know not only how happy he is, but how proud he is of our council and the work that we're doing, and our homeless folks that are working with them to provide them resources as well to get on their feet. So I just want to say thank you to Duce and all of those folks that are working to make sure that our homeless population is getting those resources. And also thank you to our council for supporting this bill and supporting the continuation of the services that they require.
Want to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to accept
13.
13.
I second that. Please vote.
The votes are in. The voting reflects mayor and council voting yes.
Elected officials reports.
Hey, we there already?
Ms. City Treasurer? I have nothing. Okay. Ms. City Clerk?
I would like to thank everyone for coming out, and I want to thank Councilwoman Johnson for bringing Me California here today. That was really good. I enjoyed it, as I did last time as well. Didn't get a chance to thank you before, but great job. I want to thank also Don Harris for just informing us about bulky items and the disposal of those things. And I would love to have the flyer as well so that I can put that in the clerk's office, so when people come in, they can see it there as well. That's pretty much it for me. Thanks, everyone, and see you next time.
Thank you. Councilwoman Johnson, please.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out this evening. And I want to thank our meet and greet vendors. We had Victor with Me California. They are a father and son owned Mexican restaurant, and they provided us with some yummy potato tacos and chips and salsa. We encourage you guys to go by and see them. We also had Mike Toledo. He is the founder of Wounded Heroes of America, and his organization has been servicing veterans since 2001. And he's done anything from paying rent and utilities to cars, cash, and even flyers to widows who've lost their husband to war. And he is doing a golf tournament on May 12th, 2025, and you can register to play or volunteer. We're looking for volunteers at woundedheroesofamerica.org. I want to thank Dawn Harris for her presentation this evening with Republic Services, and Mackenzie from AT&T. And I want to give a shout out to the 311 app, because I was getting my toes done a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, let me see if this works, because I saw this guy laid out across a sidewalk over by Popeye's Chicken over here, because I get my nails done over here across the street. And shout out to my nail girls. And this guy's just laid out across the sidewalk, and it's like, my God, he's just waiting for a cigarette or a handout. And so I said, let me see if 311 works. So I typed in homeless, chose homeless, gave a little description, and uploaded a picture. Within less than a minute, I get a phone call back. And I'm like, wow, that was fast. I didn't even get out of the parking lot. I'm still sitting in my parking space. And it was the sergeant on duty that day, and I gave him a little more of the description of what was going on, and I'm like, God, this is great, you know, how you know, reactive and proactive you guys are with this. And not that they're going to go over and throw the guy in the back of the car and throw him in jail, but at least they're going to go out to let him know, hey, these are the services that we have. You can take advantage of these services. You don't necessarily have to go home or go to a shelter, but you can't stay here. So it was great that I got that phone call. And so here I am pulling out of the driveway over there by Popeye's Chicken, and lo and behold, here comes the police force coming right in to go ahead and take care of that issue. So it does work. So shout out to 311 and to our police officers. Thank you. And thank you, Katrina, for such a beautiful event. The women's history, it was outstanding, very professional and beautiful. The colors were beautiful. And it was just a really nice time. Thank you very much. And then shout out to Ruben and North Hawthorne for the Easter egg hunt. I think we had 8,000 eggs, didn't we? Yeah, 8,000 eggs for the kids, and it was well organized. He did a great job. Had the bunny rabbit out there, so we had fun. And I'd like to share something with everybody. It's sometimes I sit in awe of what I've been able to achieve in my lifetime, because growing up in foster care and being this little scraggly, scrawny, ratty, trailer trash little kid growing up barefoot and not having anything, to find myself sitting in the White House with a personal invitation from the Dodgers to join them in the White House over this past Monday was just, I was just in awe of what you can accomplish in this country if given the opportunity to do so. And I was personally invited to go with the Dodgers out to the White House for their ceremony for their championship on Monday. And I had a really good time. We got in the back part of the White House, so we got to see things that you don't normally get to see on a regular public visit. And then made a lot of good connections for the city and things like that. And I've also met with some of the officials in the afternoon over at the Eisenhower building. And that was fun. I get to walk through the hallways and see people that you see on television. It's like, oh my God, there's so-and-so. And it was really cool. I got a lot of good pictures. And it's funny because as I was walking out, of course I stayed longer than the meeting because I'm like, let's see what's down this hallway. And I was walking around seeing everything. And I didn't see anybody else, so I'm like, I better leave before I get in trouble. And I walked out onto the porch, and all of a sudden I see people standing over to this side just staring across the fence. And I'm like, what's going on over there? And they're like, well, we don't know yet, but we're waiting for them to come out. I'm like, waiting for who? They're like, we don't know, but somebody's coming out. Because there was an SUV sitting there with 2 Marines and the press corps up in the balcony bleachers area. So somebody was about to come out. And so I'm like, ooh, okay, I'm going to wait too, because I'm nosy too. I want to know who it is. And so lo and behold, it was Netanyahu. And Trump walked him out after their meeting that they had yesterday. And it was just really neat. I mean, it was within 350 feet, watching history in the making. And I got all that on video, so hopefully we'll get that uploaded today or tomorrow on my Instagram page. But I just wanted to share that with you guys because to me, I'm just in awe of what you can achieve in this country. So, and I was fighting on behalf of Hawthorne, trust me. And then, Vaughn, if I could ask whatever we need to do to get speed bumps on 118th Place, I would appreciate that. Oh, cross streets are Felton and Inglewood. Okay, thank you guys.
We're gonna go over here. Council. Oh no, we're gonna go. Jesus Christ, it happened so swiftly. All right, Councilwoman Katrina Manning. Sorry about that, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to let everybody know the Business Expo is happening April 24th. It is actually sold out. It is also a job fair and panel discussion. So please attend. Let somebody know if they're interested in finding a job. It's 3 p.m. until 7 p.m. And that is the Business Expo and Job Fair. Also, I wanted to say a big thank you to our Congresswoman Maxine Waters, our Assemblywoman Tina McKinner, who attended the Women's History Month, and the speakers as well. We had a great time, and we danced, we laughed, and we embraced each other. And it was really a great time. If you missed out, please come next year. Also, I had an opportunity to attend a golf tournament on behalf of City of Hawthorne with TransTech. So it was a 18-hole. I made it 9 holes, and I hit the ball maybe 1 time. So my golf game is not that great, but at the end of the day, I at least hit it 1 time. So also, I wanted to say thank you to Dawn Harris for her presentation, to Mackenzie Wright from AT&T. Those 2 women, they work really hard. I see them in the community at events all the time. And so we really do have great representatives that are definitely working to support whatever efforts that we need. And whenever we need them, they're always available for us. Also, I wanted to save the date on your calendar, Mother's Day. It's going to be May 10th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Please get your tickets. They sell out. Well, it's free, but the seats goes really fast. So make sure you register for that. And then my last request is to our city attorney. I understand that we don't have a risk manager position like most cities do. The position was taken off the books several years ago and replaced with a legal risk specialist. So I would like for you to bring it back, city attorney, as an ordinance for the position to be risk manager. And then eventually, maybe human resources and the city manager can fill that position. Thank you.
Good.
That's it. Thank you.
Councilwoman Angie Reyes English.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, let me first give thanks to Dawn, our Republic Services rep, for the presentation that she provided. I think it was very helpful, especially to our residents. However, we're going to continue efforts to assure all of our issues are addressed. With regards to AT&T, the newly representative, Mrs. Wright, Neely Wright, this has been going on for years with regards to upgrades to their systems and wiring. So thank you for the update on that. With regards to legal matters, Robert, maybe you could put for us like a legal confidential that addresses civil code versus municipal code. I know there's 2 different elements to that. One is civil, which is basically your civil rights and how you've been violated with regards to civil rights, which is something that ultimately takes place in businesses that we have no jurisdiction over, especially because they're private property. So just to give us that kind of clarification on the do's and don'ts that we touch with regards to municipal code versus civil code. And yes, absolutely right. Individuals would have to obtain their own legal representation for any of those efforts. Regarding AB 1061 and AB 79, again, I like to be able to stay independent, and moving forward, I'd like to make sure that I'm aware of any items like this, either oppose or support, through a personal communication with me and showing me what the letter language has prior to be either supporting or opposing. Thank you, Councilmember Katrina Manning, for your great Women's Day event. Appreciate that. Our representation from Congress and a State Assembly. Councilmember Montero, thank you for coming too. It was a great event. Lots of great synergy, and I look forward to the May 10th event. And just an FYI on that, May 10th is also Mexican Women's Mother's Day. So just keep that aware of that, because it's very celebrated among the Latino community. I have a few things that I'd like to bring, Vaughn, to your attention and to City Attorney's attention, some things that I'd asked for before, updates that I haven't had in a little bit, and I'd like to know what's happening with those. One is the boring company. I'd like to know when and what's the status of its operation or not. If it's no longer operating, if there was an inspection made, and if it's not operational, I'd like to see the hole to be infilled as promised by Boring Company some years back. I'd like to know what the landing fees status is that I requested with regards to hiking landing fees at our airport. Everyone's taken advantage of our little airport, not landing at LAX, to make it more convenient for everyone going to SoFi, Incheon Dome, and all these other sport and entertainment venues, which brings great synergy to all of the community, but I think there needs to be a fair share when it comes to cost and how it's ultimately draining a little bit of our city resources when it comes to paving and keeping up the city airport that we have. I'd also like to address the use of Hawthorne Boulevard, the medium that folks are using to host events in the medium, hosting dance competitions in the medium, occupying space for use that is not for patron parking for businesses along the Hawthorne Boulevard. So I'd like to ultimately see some policy bring back, either amended for current policy that we have on the books. I also want to address churches that are popping up along the Hawthorne Boulevard corridor. Churches that are popping up next to businesses, which is my understanding, and we need to make an amendment to our municipal code regarding religious institutions that are ultimately, in unpermitted uses of the Hawthorne Boulevard. So those policies I'd like to see be brought on agenda items, and I'd like to either know what the study is on those so that we could address those as needed. And these are things that have been going on for years. It's not something new. And the follow-up, I haven't heard some of the statuses on this. So if we could work on that, I'd appreciate it. I'd like to also just make mention to Ms. Johnson on your restaurants being here today, and Mike Toledo being here today. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. Me, California, long institution years here in Hawthorne, some 20 years, over maybe 30 years. But thank you for that. Don't forget our Hawthorne 311, which is general information. But I don't know, can we get this out to the community? If it's not already out in the community, through maybe some of our billing systems, to include in a leaflet or something for billing or something. We have billing,
Absolutely. We'll
yeah,
look into
maybe
that.
even with Republic Services, since we're working hand in hand. Your Business Expo, that's coming up, as you made mention. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to make that, but great efforts on your behalf since you've taken it over. I'm glad that you're doing good work there. The Autism Walk that's coming up April 26th from 9 to 1, Councilmember Montero over at Eucalyptus Park. My Service Provider Fair, along with Councilmember Montero and the council, 17th Annual Service Provider Fair. Thank you so much to all of you that donated bikes. We have over 20 bikes that are going to be raffled to families, which they all look, are excited for and look forward to that. Again, working hard here in Hawthorne to address everyone's need. And I also want to thank our Hawthorne Police for bringing a campaign on distracted driving, which is basically, keep your hands on the wheels, keep your cell phones in your pockets. So great efforts on behalf of our police and the campaign to work, along with our community on those efforts. The Special Needs Awareness Program, there's information out in the lobby on all of this great work that we're doing here in Hawthorne. Again, thank you to staff. Thank you to especially our Bridge of Hope Housing and how we're helping our unhoused individuals. It's not easy when we have folks come up to the dais that want to address us with regards to, homelessness and things that they're facing. However, there's processes for everything. I look forward to hearing the results of and/or resolve of how this individual was assisted. But Vaughn, can we please, moving forward, have forms available for folks that want to provide us information on any issue that they have that we need to contact? In other words, maybe keep the form outside in the lobby on the desk, and we could direct them to fill out the form and place it in a box, which would be, a box stationed out in the lobby. I think it's really unfair for our sergeant of arms or anyone to have to be, taken out of their post to address a social service need. So if we could do that, I'd appreciate it. The forms are very important. If you remember, Mayor and myself, we formed these forms years ago to address all the speakers that are coming up. It's easier to fill out the form so that we have your information, and then you could be contacted by the department that it's addressed to. So just streamlining and just trying to be, as professional as possible. But thank you, Sergeant of Arms back there, and Vaughn, for your help with those. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Mayor Pro Tem Montero.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening at home. First, again, I want to say thank you to the Don Harris from the Public Service to give us the update on the bulking item, and also the AT&T, because there is a lot of issue going on in the state, and for the no community left behind when it comes to Wi-Fi and copper versus fiber. So they're working on that. I want to say thank you to the Councilwoman Katrina Manning. The event was fantastic. It was beautiful. I enjoyed myself. Thank you for that. That was tremendous. We were sitting down with all the dignitaries there. Also, the representative for the county supervisor, Mitchell, was there too. So, but I have to tell you that the speakers, the women on the stage were dynamic. They were phenomenal. So I love those, all the ideas they had, giving ideas for the little girls, how to grow up, and giving like a mentorship, basically. It was a tremendous impact right there, that moment. So thank you very much. I enjoyed it very much. Thank you for that. The other thing that I want to say that I did attend the South Bay COG Annual Assembly, and one of the most discussed issue was about transportation and parking and mobility hubs, right? Because we know we're having a lot of cars in our streets and people driving more. Actually, this afternoon it was phenomenal because it was a light traffic on Hawthorne Boulevard, but then I realized it was spring break for all the school districts in the area. So, but we have traffic issues in Hawthorne, especially people flying by to the street. So we have to figure out a way to slow down traffic, or maybe take people out of their cars and to become more mobile, walking, bikes, using bicycles, even maybe golf cars in the future, right? Instead of these big vehicles, because we're putting, everybody at risk, not just safety, but also, pollution, all the CO2 that we're putting in the air. So those are the kind of things that we need to start thinking about, mobility hubs that actually because it's going to come, a lot of events is going to come to this South Bay. So we want to make sure that we're going to keep traffic moving and by the same time to slow down traffic and say, keep your car at home. Don't go to Ralph, just drive 2 blocks in your car, just walk or get a bike with a basket, go shop without a car. So we have to start talking about those things. And the other things they talk about, it was the utilities and the CPUC and all these fiber versus copper coming up, wireless, because a lot of people is complaining. I want to say, again, my head goes off to the Hawthorne PD because what you see under the city managed calendar, item 16, it was this project called Baller Wrap. So Baller Wrap actually is a technique that will wrap up the suspect without tasing them, without even for them to even put a guns on them. So this is another way to protect our public safety, to protect our police, also to protect the people that is being apprehended. So thank you for that, because it's another idea that is beautiful, that is protecting both sides. So thank you for that. I want to say thank you to our city manager and also to the community department, Ms. Kawana Bowie, for the pool, because I guess you guys have finally come up with the days and the hours that everybody will enjoy the pool and everybody will be happy about. So thank you for that notice. And also the Nate all-power chatbot to enhance public engagement and access to service. So Hawthorne is always innovating stuff happening. So thank you for that. Yeah, and it's like AI. Yeah, so Ms. English already mentioned the Providers Fair that's going to be this Saturday on the 12th. So we're going to have a lot of things giving away. Even we're going to give some gas card for those people who drive. So we're going to give that. And we're going to get, it will be like also Easter egg hunt. So come and enjoy. So we already have 34 different vendors that's going to be there on Saturday. So enjoying himself. Just to keep in mind, the month of April is Autism Awareness Month. Is also is something about the what do you call him? Autism, and there is something else. Now it's Autism Awareness Month, but also it's not domestic violence, but it's the sexual. Yeah, something like that. But just to be aware of these things, and then especially because of what we have launched in our special need awareness program that goes along with the awareness month of all these events, that is autism is very important, and also and it is a domestic violence and sexual offender to keep aware of those, okay? The other thing to keep in mind, a lot of stuff are coming up, like the Parks and Recs golf tournament is going to be also on April 20, I believe.
21st.
Oh, the 21st, thank you. And then, so of course, the Winter Warrior is going to come, and then also the Hawthorne School District is going to have the golf tournament on June 30th. And keep in mind that on June 10th is going to be the Kiwanis and Rotary, celebrating the police and the firefighters. Okay, so it's the annual lunch at the Memorial Center is going to be on June 10th, celebrating the police and firefighter. Yeah, it's Sexual Assault Awareness Month. That's what. Thank you, Mrs. English, for putting it up. It's Sexual Assault Awareness Month and also the Autism Awareness Month. So on that note, Mr. Mayor, I think that's what I have. So it was a great meeting. And I forgot to say that we opened our second cannabis retail store in Hawthorne, and another one is coming soon. So again, this is like a business, economic development. So it's not just, I don't promote cannabis, but I promote sales tax. Thank you.
To the chair.
You know what? I have a jar right here. For every go back, you're gonna have to drop $1 in. No. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Real quick, city manager, can you just answer whether do we have signage at the Memorial Park that says no overnight parking?
That is a very difficult question. I don't know that off the top of my head. I
Okay.
would have to look into that.
Yeah,
Would
can
you like to have
please
that installed if it's
yes,
not there?
because a few folks reached out to me about saying that they car was towed, and the question.
Well, I can tell you this, after 2 a.m., there is no parking there, so I don't know if that moves forward for no overnight parking, but the curfew in the parking lot is 2 a.m.
Well, basically, they were parking after hours. So I just want to make sure that we have a sign that says that there's no overnight parking. Because this person is using our parking lot for their parking lot.
We have several rules in place. Our park ordinance that our parks close at 10 p.m. every night, with the Memorial Center being until 2 a.m. But I will talk to Robert and see if we need to add any additional signage there to protect us against that.
Thank you.
Your dollar?
To the chair.
You got $1?
I got to give you $3.
Oh my God. Right here, let's go.
Vaughn, real quick on the when you do the research for the landing fees and things like that, could you also include the employment money that we get from the FAA grant money? So we can see that also.
Noted.
Thank you. And then I did forget one shout out. Your husband makes the best Southern style grits that I have tasted on the West Coast. He is good, so shout out to him.
Thank you.
And then if we could get the Mayor Pro Tem to do a demonstration on the Bolo wrap. Sure. We'd like for you to be the service dummy for the police.
Jesus Christ. He doesn't know what he's getting himself into, huh?
I'm glad the chief is not here. So we got Captain Ford, so he'll take note.
All right, thanks, guys. All right, guys, thank you all for being here. Congratulations to North Hawthorne Community Association for their event. About 500 people. My dad took a picture with the bunny rabbit, so you guys had a really nice program right there where the photographers were able to print stuff out right there and then, take the picture, and there was the background border imagery that would come out on the picture with little balloons and Easter eggs, and it looked really nice. And 500 children that were able to get, how many eggs were there?
8,000.
8,000 eggs. I mean, that's a lot. And so
Yeah, that's a lot.
kudos.
Were they real eggs?
The little plastic eggs.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
you would have to be using kettles and stuff to get that. All right, but congratulations over there. Thank you so much for doing that. Question with regards to the risk manager. This is this something? What's the origin of this? If you don't mind my asking. I can hear you. Yeah. A friendly question.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Because we had this position before and we took it away. So the current person that's in the position is doing the work. So this is an opportunity for them to be promoted.
And I could further elaborate on that.
Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, sir.
It's Ms. Manning has some questions about the status report that I provided for council as legal confidential. So she asked about certain information in there and who does all that. And I explained to her it's a legal risk specialist because we don't have a risk manager.
Okay.
So that's the reason why this conversation came up.
Okay, I'd be willing to support that if everything checks out. Thank you for bringing that up. All right.
Have to go through Vaughn, no?
Yeah, so we'll find out what's going on with regards to that. The medians being used I'm echoing on some of the comments that were made up here, and you're right. I was driving, there's been at least 2 or 3 times that I've driven down there, and you have like these aerobics groups, and they're doing aerobics in the little center mediums on Hawthorne Boulevard, and it's like a little takeover. So I mean, you didn't bring it up just to bring it up. I've seen it myself.
It's a liability.
And that's not the purpose of that. You're correct. It's a liability. You know, what's the next thing? You're gonna have little kids doing little pom-pom practice or drill team and this and that, and you don't want to have. You know, you park your car, you get to the crosswalk, and go to whatever business you're supposed to. Okay, so I think we really need to enforce that. And Mr. City Attorney, do we already have anything on the books for that?
I would have to look into that, see if aerobics is in the code for not being allowed on the median.
You have your code
But
book
I will
that you
look.
could have it right in front of you for the next meeting. I'm gonna be asking you another couple of things with regards to that. Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. Please do.
I'll look into it.
Yeah, the Bridge of Hope. Thank you for bringing that up. I mean, for the gentleman that came up earlier talking about his situation, that's something he could really benefit from, especially if he's looking for transition into permanent housing. So that's hopefully we connected with him and are able to maybe even place him there and his partner, and put him on a path towards full independence and being able to obtain some employment. So that's what the purpose is, right?
We were successful in 9 folks we made permanent housing for.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
And then also, with him being a veteran, he is eligible for HUD-VASH, and he could probably get that faster than he can get a regular HUD chit.
Yeah, so we're hoping that he follows up as well with us. I mean, we already made a connection, so we've established something already, right? So the churches sprouting up, that's definitely, if it's not a permitted use, we need to just close those things down. This is not about the operation. It's about the fact that congregations of these magnitudes need to be, go through a process to be able to get access to buildings in different cities. Okay.
To the chair.
Yeah, no more. This is on me. This is all me. Mr. City Attorney, what's the regulations on that?
So I just discussed this with the planning director, and then church is not a permitted use along Hawthorne Boulevard. Having said that, he also explained that there is one church that is grandfathered in before the zoning laws were amended.
The one that's closer to Rosecrans.
I'm not sure if that's the one. that
Yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yes.
So if there's been 2 additional churches, we need to go ahead and just close them down and be able to tell them what the process is for them to be able to establish occupancy. Because if they're located along Hawthorne Boulevard, that definitely takes up a large, first of all, there's limits on occupancy, not on the operation. It's just the numbers of people that are getting together in one location. That's the big danger right there. And that has to be a permitted process, a permitted use, and they have to apply for the permit. So I don't need further information. These people need to be contacted, and whatever we need to do to be able to seize their operations until they go through the process, I think we need to.
So maybe we could get some additional information as to the location of the new additional churches that you're talking about
I
offline.
think we might already have some leads on where they're at, right, Mr. City Manager? Can you mention it?
No, I was told it's just on Hawthorne Boulevard, so I would have to go
Okay.
investigate what churches are actually operating illegally.
Yeah, okay. And I mean, that's one thing that, we want to make sure that everybody's safe, because that's our liability for allowing it. Okay, so that's why there's permits on uses. Okay? Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
I think one of the big complaints too is like Me California. I don't know if that's in the area of where this grandfather church is.
Yeah.
It is?
That's the one.
What the
That's
problem
grandfathered.
is they stay beyond the 2-hour limit of parking, and it interferes with his business. because his customers have nowhere to park because the church is taking up all the parking and they stay there all day. Mr. City Manager, who the appropriate people here, can we make sure that we keep track of the parking in that location and site where there's people are staying longer than the 2 hours?
Yes, I'll work with staff to monitor the parking, that they don't exceed the 2-hour time limit.
So those were my two directives. Or was that 3?
You can give more, it's okay.
Or okay, wait, hold on. I mean, I'm
My
not gonna
team
do
is
it.
ready.
You're a team player, man. Wow. All right, no, so yeah, if we could go deal with that situation on the parking, the 2-hour parking, and just go ahead and find out where these churches are located. Just tell them to stop their operation until they go through the process, if they're willing to do so. Okay. Another question for our city attorney. I know we've already talked, but for the benefit of the residents, many residents have asked me with regards to the little cards that are put on the cars.
Yes, the leaflets.
Yeah, can you go ahead and just comment on what our discussion was and what
So-
our limitations are on enforcing that?
Yes, so every few years, we do get complaints from several years back. I remember having to draft a legal memorandum on this. And there's a clear, specific U.S. Supreme Court case that addresses this, that the people that drop those leaflets and leave them on the car has a First Amendment right, and the cities cannot regulate that. And there in that particular case, I remember factually the city cited these companies that were leaving commercial leaflets on cars, and it went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. And the issue was that for the city, they argued that it leaves a lot of trash on the streets, and the Supreme Court responded that if that's the logic, then we should be outlawing candy wrappers, everything that could end up as a trash. So we basically are restricted under the First Amendment.
Thank you. So that's my response with regards to that. Follow up for those residents that were asking. So I do want to let you guys know that we have an autism awareness walk that's taking place on April 26th. I don't know if you guys mentioned it, but just repeating that possibly. It's from 9 o'clock to 1 p.m. at Eucalyptus Park. Looking forward to seeing that being a success. And just, Mr. City Manager, could you allot $250 to the organization that's putting this on to help facilitate any costs for permitting on my behalf?
Would that be out of your stipend?
Yes, sir.
Noted.
Yeah, $250 for right now. If the lady needs more, if she can contact me, okay? Please.
Mayor?
And then there'll be an additional request on allotment that I'll be sending through emails separately. You have a question?
I just wanted to offer 200 for my stipend on that. I didn't know they were requesting funding. I don't remember hearing, but okay,
Thank you for the donation.
yeah. And then I'll do one next month for the
Are you helping?
Mother's Day. Thank you.
Are you helping on that one, sir?
Yeah, I am helping on that one. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for helping on that, Mayor Pro Tem.
Councilwoman Reyes English, could you repeat that amount? Was it $200 or?
Yes,
Okay,
please.
thank you, noted.
No, I'm not looking over there. Well, you just made me laugh.
Through the chair. The reason I didn't ask for money from nobody because we're trying to do some fundraising outside, for the business and stuff, and so we're doing okay. So don't feel pressure. So we're fine.
No. Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, no. Still, for the organization, if they have any future things, I would like to benefit from that. So thank you guys all for being here. There's a lot of interesting things happening on a national scale, international scale as well. Let's see how our 401ks do, and like our investments out there. And maybe it's like they say, the long game, but let's see. I don't know what to say, guys. I'm serious. But thank you all for being here. If there's no further comment from staff or from my council colleagues, this meeting is adjourned at 8:06 p.m.